My name is Patricia Eleanor Hayes, and I never wanted a fight with anyone. I just wanted to grow my roses, water my beans, and keep to myself. But my neighbor, Linda Carson, had other plans. This is the story of how she stole my garden and how I quietly took her house in return. For 32 years, I lived on Maple Drive, in a small brick house my late husband Edward built with his own hands. We weren't rich, but we were happy. Edward used to say, "A garden is a mirror of your soul, Pat, keep it alive, and you'll never grow old." So I did. Even after he passed, I spent every morning out there, trimming, planting, talking to the flowers like they were old friends, and they bloomed. The whole street smelled of lavender and lilies. Until Linda moved in. Linda was younger, mid-50s maybe, with fancy nails and a louder voice than the church bells. She called herself a real estate visionary. I called her trouble the moment she asked, "Do you really need that much yard space, Pat?" I laughed politely. "As long as I can bend my knees, I'll keep my garden." She smiled, too wide. "Well, if you ever decide to sell, I'm your girl." I should have known then she wasn't asking. She was warning. A few months later, I noticed something strange. My fence line, the one separating our yards, had moved. Just a few inches at first, then a foot. And part of my flower bed was now on her side. I thought maybe it was a mistake, until she put up a new wooden fence right through my roses. When I asked her why, she said, "Oh, Pat, you must be mistaken. The survey says this land's mine now." I blinked. "Survey? What survey?" "The one I paid for last month," she said, smirking. "Boundaries change over time." "Boundaries don't change, but greedy people do." I called the county office. They said no survey had been filed under my property, only hers. And the kicker, her surveyor was her cousin. I filed a complaint. But by the time officials came, the fence was up, and my garden was half destroyed. Linda greeted them with coffee and cookies like it was Sunday brunch. They shrugged, said it was a civil matter. Civil, my foot. It was theft with better manners. So I hired a real surveyor. Cost me nearly 2 months' pension. When he came, he looked at the records, whistled low, and said, "Ma'am, she's taken 2 feet of your land. That's enough to sue." I didn't want a lawsuit. I wanted peace. But peace doesn't grow where weeds like Linda lived. One day, I overheard her telling another neighbor she's too old to fight. By next year, I'll buy her place cheap. That's when I decided she wanted my land. She'd pay for it, all of it. I called my nephew Gregory, who worked in real estate law. We spent 3 evenings going over papers. Turned out, Linda hadn't just faked a survey, she'd built part of her shed over my legal boundary. That's called encroachment. And in legal terms, it's as bad as trespassing, only more expensive. Gregory grinned. "You could force her to tear it all down." I said, "No. I'll wait until she builds more." And oh, she did. By spring, she'd extended her patio, added a hot tub, and even laid new tiles, half of which were technically mine. When I finally filed the encroachment claim, the court sided with me. But instead of cashing in right away, I waited. Linda laughed it off, told everyone in the neighborhood she's senile, won't remember this next week. I remembered. Every brick. Every inch. 6 months later, Linda listed her house for sale. Hot property. Her ad said. Gregory and I smiled when we saw it. Because according to the court record, half of that hot property legally belonged to me. No buyer wanted to touch it. The sale fell through 3 times. Her mortgage ballooned. Her taxes went up. Her dream home turned into a legal nightmare. And when the bank finally foreclosed, guess who bought it at auction? $38,000 later, the house next door was mine. I didn't move in. I just put a small sign out front that said, "Private property, keep off the garden." Linda moved away quietly, never said goodbye. The neighbors still talk about it. "Pat took her house," they whisper. No, I didn't. I just let karma use my gardening tools. Now, when I walk through my garden, I see both yards blooming again side by side. The flowers don't care who owns the soil, but I do. Because peace only grows when you protect your roots. If you're listening to this, remember, some people plant lies. Others plant justice. And sometimes, the best revenge is watching your garden bloom on their property.